501c4 organization that has over 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families. AARP is committed to offering opportunities for people to stay engaged from your homes. The Mindful Movement series offers that opportunity for you to keep moving in the safety of your own home. Let's get started. Hey, Becca.
Good morning, Margie.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
I'm just perky today. So what do you have for us today?
Well, Margie, today we're going to do a pretty all-around practice with a lot of our traditional yoga stuff. We're going to do several things where we do a pose in the chair, and then we do the pose standing up out of the chair. Sort of give us the differences, right? And you'll have some choices there as well, as I like to give you.
All right. Nothing wrong with choices. All right. Folks, remember that before you begin any program, to please check with your physician to make sure that it is safe for you to participate. Well, we're not going to hold any longer. Let's go, Becca. Let's get started.
All right. Well, let's get warmed up a little bit first before we dive into some of those poses that I mentioned. So let's just sit tall. We're going to be using a chair as we usually do. This helps us make the practices accessible to more people. You can get a lot of work and a lot of good stretches using the chair. And then we'll also do plenty of things where we're standing up. And then you have the option to keep the chair close by for some balance or stability as needed. All right. But let's sit forward in the chair, get the feet on the floor. Sit tall all the way up through the crown of the head. Let the arms just drop down to your sides. Maybe give them a little shake or circle out those wrists a little bit. Then we're going to start with some breathing. We're going to use the arms, right? So inhale and sweep those arms out to the side. You can take them as high as you want to go. Exhale, bring them right down the middle, sort of right down the center of the body, right towards your lap. And then again, inhale and sweep those arms out to the sides and up. Exhale, slowly press the hands down to the lap. 3 more times. Big breath in. Exhale, slowly, steadily, all the way out. 2 more times. One more. All right, now let those arms hang down at your sides again. Do some nice big shoulder rolls. Now this is a good one to do your breathing with as well. You can inhale as you bring those shoulders forward and up. Exhale or sigh out of the mouth as you bring them back and down. One of the benefits we get from doing this practice is that we do some nice deep breathing. We maybe break our normal breathing patterns and habits, and we stimulate our lungs and the muscles that help us with breathing by taking breaths that are different in depth and different in length and speed. All right, one more big shoulder roll. Let those shoulders and arms relax, and then turn the head side to side. Loosen up that neck a little bit. Okay, now let's make a full circle with this neck. Bring that chin over to one shoulder, drop it down, bring it across the chest, over to the other shoulder, and gently up in the air and across the top. Go around again. Keep it pretty slow and avoid any position or angle that gives you pain. Okay, so you just make that motion different, smaller, whatever you need to do. Now let's reverse directions. Go the other way around that same circle. One more time. Good. All right, now find your hips, your seat on the chair. Okay, so feel those bones in the bottom of your buttocks there, your sitting bones. And we're going to start to circle around that seat, right? And you can make this small or you can make it big. You can get more movement out of the rib cage if you want, kind of pushing that chest forward, pulling the ribs in and back, getting a little more rounded. I just want to get the spine moving here. We're also starting to mobilize the hip joints a little bit with this circling. All right, let's go the other direction. So pause and reverse. Circle around on the pelvis, on the hips in the other direction. And 1 or 2 more circles here. Bring it back to center. Bring the feet forward if they were out wide. Let's take one hand and hold maybe the side of your chair or the leg of your chair. Take the other arm up. Stretch it up as high as you can. You can also put it on your head if that's a better position for your shoulder. And just stretch over to the side. And bring it back up to center. Drop that arm down. Stretch over the other way. Bring it back to center. Let's do that again. Try to notice, are you still breathing while you're holding that stretch? I'd like you to keep the breath flowing. Try not to hold your breath. Stretch it over one more time. And then back to center. Good. Now let's do a little gentle twist, turning in one direction with the chest, shoulders, and the head. You could bring your hand across and hold on to the front knee if you want to. And then release, sit tall, take it the other way. Again, check that you're taking some breaths in and out. In fact, take the fullest or biggest breath that you can take as you're holding that twist. Now let's take it again to the other side. Sit tall and turn. Release, go one more time. And release it back to center. All right, let's warm up the legs a little bit. So sit tall. Feel free to hold on the chair sides if you need to for a little extra support. Let's take one leg and straighten and bend at the knee a few times. Good. Hold that foot forward and circle out that ankle. Go the other way. Okay, and then the other foot, circle. Go the other direction. Good, and release it. All right, so as I mentioned, we're going to do several poses here in the chair, and then we're going to recreate or do those same poses, but in standing. And you'll find that, at least I find, that some of the poses are actually more challenging in the chair than they are standing up. And for some, it's the other way. And it really depends on the individual as far as which ones you'll find, more challenging to either your strength or your mobility in your joints. All right, so let's start with a kneeling lunge, okay, or a crescent lunge is really what we'll do in standing. So you're going to turn sideways in the chair. It's always good to hold on to the back of your chair. You'll be sort of half on the chair and half off. So my front leg is hanging off the chair, but my other one is solidly on the seat of the chair. And I've got this leg so that my knee is pointed down on the ground, my toes are tucked under, although it's fine to be on the top of your foot if you want. All right. And I'm going to just work that leg back, however far back I can go. Some of us may be with that knee right straight down. Some of us may be able to get that leg a little further back. You're going to see if you can turn your belly, your chest to just face that side of the chair. Squeeze the glute here. Push into that front foot. And then you have the option to take that front arm or maybe both arms, but make sure you're not going to fall out of the chair, right? Make sure you're solid and reach up. We'll hold here a couple breaths. We'll do this in standing. We'll do it as either a crescent lunge or a warrior one. That's really what we're doing here is a warrior one variation, sometimes called a crescent lunge. One more breath. And then release it. Now we're going to stay sort of in this position. We're not going to go straight to the other side. So what I want you to do is just turn partway to the front. And see if you can stretch out this, the long leg, the one that was behind you a moment ago. You may need to bring that leg forward in order to get it straight, right? So having it back here in line with the chair is one possibility, but not everybody's hip is going to feel comfortable there. It may need to work its way forward, or you may simply need to bend the knee a little bit, right? So this other knee, the bent knee, okay, is going to try to push out, open up the inner thigh. All right, and then we bring the arms up to shoulder height. This one we call warrior one. Warrior two. We already did warrior one. So in the yoga practice, in the tradition within asana, this one is often called warrior two. So I'm going to have nice strong legs, lift up through the crown of the head, stretch out through those fingertips. Take a couple breaths here. One more breath in. We're going to see if we can keep our legs the way they are, but drop this front hand down to the thigh, or it might be that you want to put the elbow down. So either one, it could be the hand or the forearm elbow, and then let this back arm sort of stretch up and over the head. Right? So this is nice because I've got the support of the chair. My legs don't have to do all the work of holding me up. I get a nice stretch through that side body, a nice long reach from the outside of the foot all the way up to the fingertips. This is called side angle pose. One more breath here. And then bring it back up. We'll come back to warrior two. Pause a moment, drop the arms down, and just bring the legs forward. All right, now before we go and do all that on the other side, we're going to do a pose here in the center called chair pose. Now we're seated in the chair, and we could stay just seated here, right? That would be one way to do it. That would be a great way to do it for someone who's maybe got some weakness in their legs. It's hard to get up and down out of a chair, right? So the arms are going to come forward, and I'm leaning a little bit forward. So my spine, my torso is at a little bit of an angle, right? Forward, but it's nice and straight. It's not rounded. Pull those feet back underneath the knees and just start to push into the feet. Feel the legs get active. Now, if you're able to hover or bring your hips up, great. You can do that, or you can keep those hips right on the chair. Your choice. And then let's bring it back and turn the other way. So we're going to do our same sequence on this other side in the chair, and then we'll try it all standing. All right, so this is the one where we're sort of half in and half off the chair. This is our warrior one position, or our crescent lunge. The front leg hangs down. It might need to stay right here. You might be able to get it further back. This is one of the mobility things that's a little more challenging in the chair than it is in standing. All right. So squeeze that back glute. Lift up from the belly. Try to turn to face that side of the chair. And then you can reach up with one arm, the forward arm if you want. Maybe both arms. But it's okay to keep holding onto the chair for some stability. Good. Holding here for another 2 breaths. Reach up, warrior one. Get nice and strong. Good. And then let's release. Now we're sort of just making a slight change, turning the chest and the pelvis a little more to the front. And you got to figure out where can you angle this leg, right? So remember, sometimes this is just not going to work for people's hips, and that leg may need to come forward, all right? Figure out where you can take that leg, open up this bent knee, sort of walk that foot over maybe, push the knee out, lift up nice and tall through the spine, and then out through the arms, right up to the fingertips. This again is warrior two. Another pose where you try to just see if we can find strength. Strength through the legs, strength through the arms. Another breath here. And then we're going to go to that side angle pose. So hand or elbow down on the knee or the thigh. Top arm can swing up. If your shoulder doesn't like that, remember, hand on the head is always an option. You don't have to take the arm all the way up towards the ear. You can take it as far as it feels comfortable for you. Get some length. Push into that foot out there on that long, straight leg. Reach through the rib cage and the waist. All right, now let's bring it back. Center with the chest, the head, the arms. Drop those arms down. Bring the legs back in front. Walk the feet back. Sit sort of on the edge of the chair. Bring the arms out and lean forward. Now, again, leaning and pushing into the feet is still great work in strengthening your legs, strengthening your spine. If you can push enough to hover above the chair, great. You can give that a try. And then, of course, you can sit back down as soon as you need to. Good. All right, let's all lean back. Take a little moment to rest. We're ready to come up and try those in standing. All right, so come on up. You're going to just keep the chair handy. You may or may not need it for a little something to hold on to for balance, but it'll be there if you do. All right, let's turn so that you have room to step back behind you. All right, so this first one is that crescent lunge or warrior pose that we did. We were down in the chair, right? So often it's a little easier to get the leg further back and the knee straighter when we're standing up versus in the chair. Turn the hips to face that forward facing foot to knee. And then you can raise the arms up. If you prefer to have the hands out in front, that's a good variation. Or hands can be at the heart. Again, find some strength here. Push into the legs. Reach up to the fingertips. Find that warrior within you. You've all got something to fight for, I'm sure. People and places and causes that you believe in, or even just fighting for yourself, for your own health, right? Be a warrior in your own way. One more breath here. All right, now we're still gonna just go right from this one to warrior two. So that back foot can pivot a little bit so that you can turn your pelvis and your chest a little more towards the front, right? It'll be a little bit off to the side. Most of us can't turn all the way to the front without that front knee pulling in, right? So I want to push that knee out, bend into that knee a little bit more. You could be touching the chair, or you can take those arms up parallel to the ground. This is the warrior two. So what's different about this one for you than it was in the chair, okay? Are some things harder? You got to take more of the weight of your body through your legs. Are some things easier? Maybe the mobility that we need for the hips is a little bit less, so that part may feel a little bit easier. One or two more breaths here. And then we're going to do that side angle. Now, you could use the chair. You could put your hand on the chair if it's in reach, or you still have the same option to put your hand or your elbow on that bottom knee. And then that other arm can reach up and over. Right? Also could take that hand to your hip without reaching. You can take that hand to your head. Couple breaths here, side angle. And one more breath here, strong legs. Push through those legs to bring you back up to warrior two. Drop the arms, turn the feet, walk it all the way into center. All right, we got to work on our chair pose here. All right, and again, if you were doing that little rise up, if you were actually elevating your hips out of the chair, you may notice that that's pretty challenging. Here, when we sit back and into chair, you don't have to go quite that low, okay? So you don't maybe quite get the same intensity. Of course, you could if you wanted to. So, all right, let's bring the arms forward and then sit back. I'm going to show you this from the side in case that helps you see. So I'm sitting back, I'm bending at my hips, bending at my knees and ankles, keeping my spine nice and straight, using the strength of my legs. Two more breaths here. Good, and then come on up, maybe stretch up tall. And then release. All right. Now let's take this to the other direction, right? So you might turn around if you're going to keep using your chair. If you're not bothering with the chair, then you can just turn the other way and leave your chair behind, which is what I'm going to do. All right, so we're starting with our warrior one. So feet are spread apart. Make sure you're using the other leg here, okay? So the other leg's in front with a bent knee. Push into that back heel. Active squeeze in that glute. And then option to take the arms up. Remember, some other options are arms in front, hands at the heart, arms up overhead but wide rather than parallel. Good, and go ahead and channel that warrior again. Find your strength. Good. One more breath here. We're going to open it up to the side. All right, so just let those feet turn. I always find that I want to get a little longer in my stride when I come to warrior two. So you could widen that out, lengthen out between the legs if you want. All right, well, bending one knee, pushing that knee open. Remember your pelvis, your chest, your belly, it's all going to be sort of on a diagonal, probably not turning all the way to the side. Okay, but we are trying to move it away from facing that front leg. All right, anchor into that back leg. What do you notice here? How's it different from doing it in the chair? Spread out those arms for that warrior two stance. Find your strength. Breathe in, breathe out. Good, we're coming for side angle. Remember, you could use the chair if you've got it, or it could be the hand or the elbow down on that bent thigh. Top arm, have some choices. Keep it low, roll the shoulder back, sweep it up and overhead if you want that long reach. The legs definitely get more tired for these than they do in the chair, right? Because they're having to hold a little more load. The chair was helping to take some of the weight of your body in space. Got one more breath here. And bring it back up to warrior two and pause for a moment. Drop those arms down and turn the feet. Walk them in. Take just a moment there. Shake out those legs. All right, now we're going to do our chair pose again. All right, so stand up nice and tall. Bring the arms forward. Or there is the option to take the arms all the way up as you sit back and into chair pose. All right, that's more work on your back. And if you want to drop those hands at any time, you can. If you want to challenge yourself, see if you can go a little lower with those hips. Feel that burn in those thighs. Good, and then come all the way up. Drop the arms down. Pause just a moment. All right, now we're going to do one more thing here in standing, and we're going to want to use the chair or something to hold on to, right? And some of you may find that this one just doesn't work for you in standing, and you can just wait until we do it in seated. All right, this is a hip stretch. We're going to cross my ankle up to my knee, or it could be just below my knee, and then I'm going to just sit back and down to the hips. I'm holding on to this chair for some balance. Feeling some stretch in this outer hip here, the one that I have crossed over. All right, bring it up. Let's take it the other way. Again, if this doesn't work for you, a little too unstable, too hard on the one leg, we'll sit in the chair and do it there in just a moment, so you still get a chance to do it. All right, good. Come on up. Now let's come back to seated in our chair, and we'll go right into that same hip stretch next. Oh, it feels good to sit down again after all that warrior work. All right, so we'll cross the ankle to the knee, but remember, crossing below the knee on the shin, Or at the ankle is also possible, so that may work better for some hip joints. Sit up tall. Maybe you lean forward. That's just going to put a little more stretch in there. Check in with your breathing. Can you try and take a slightly deeper breath than your normal breath here for a few rounds while you're holding this stretch? And then let's bring it up, uncross, take it to the other side. So remember, you can cross high, you can cross a little lower or even lower, and it may be different on your two sides, right? So maybe you've got some, tighter muscles on one side, or a tighter joint, or some restrictions, maybe from a surgery or something like that. So you find the place that you can take it and get some benefit from the stretch. Maybe a little bit of a lean forward. Good, and then release it. Take both feet back to the ground. Roll those shoulders a couple times. Let those shoulders drop back and down. Gently tilt the head towards one shoulder. Drop the opposite arm out. Let it be heavy and reach towards the ground for a moment. Bring that hand back to your lap. The head comes up. And gently tilt it towards the other shoulder. And reach that opposite arm out and down. And release, bring that hand back, the head up. Maybe scoot back in your chair if you want and get some support. Let yourself use the backrest. I'll invite you, if you'd like, to just place a hand on the heart and a hand on your belly, and maybe close your eyes. And just take a few moments here. Can you feel your heart beating? Can you feel your breath rising and falling? Or just tune in. Tune into these happenings in your body. You might be sitting still, being quiet. There's still lots going on in your body. Heart beating, blood flowing, breath moving the body itself. About 3 more breaths. And see if these last 3 breaths can be a little bit deeper, a little bit slower. Then you can bring your hands together, maybe open your eyes, sit up a little bit taller. I like to bring the hands together in a gesture of gratitude and thankfulness, with gratitude for our bodies and the warriors that they are. And I'm always grateful for AARP of Alabama for giving us these opportunities to move together from the safety of home. Thanks for joining us, and we'll hope to see you next Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Thank you so much, Becca. We enjoyed that this morning. We do have a survey, and we'd love to know what you think about our Tuesday morning programs. Please take time to go in and look at our survey. And we thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again on Tuesday. So goodbye, everybody, and have a great week.
Bye, Margie. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Becca.